Have you ever wondered why that person who hurt you, who made you believe it was all over, insists on coming back? And more than that, why do you still feel something every time this happens? It's as if, even after everything, a part of you waits for this return. It doesn't make sense, but it happens. And it doesn't just happen to you. There's a silent, almost invisible cycle that traps thousands of people in relationships that have already ended on the outside, but remain alive on the inside. A cycle that doesn't depend on love, but on something much deeper, darker, more chemical. It's at this point that the real mind game begins, the one no one taught you to recognize, but which you feel firsthand every time they come back. The narcissist doesn't come back for love. They come back for control. They come back because they know exactly where to touch. They come back because they know your wounds better than you do. And you, even knowing the risks, hesitate. Because there's a voice inside you that whispers, what if this time is different? But it never is. This kind of return isn't a fresh start. It's a repetition. A well-laid trap where the roles are already defined. One dominates, the other waits to be chosen. And worst of all of this is coated with a layer of illusion that masks the pain with hope. It's at this point that the cycle of emotional abuse strengthens, takes root, and becomes routine. Today, you'll understand why he always comes back, not by chance, not out of love, but because of a calculated pattern built over time. A pattern that manipulates you through your needs, your fears, and above all, your search for validation. Because deep down, all the narcissist needs is your doubt, your maybe. You'll discover the psychological mechanisms, emotional triggers, and invisible bonds that keep you in this cycle. You'll understand what's behind manipulative behavior and how to break free from this emotional prison once and for all. This video isn't just about the other person. It's about you, about your clarity, about your healing, about how to escape the victim role without becoming like your tormentor. Are you ready to see what's always been there, but you didn't want to see? The narcissist's return isn't spontaneous. It doesn't happen out of genuine longing or genuine regret. It's a planned move, designed with pinpoint precision, like a trap set long before the breakup. Throughout the relationship, the narcissist builds a psychological map inside your mind. They implant access points, emotional control zones, and return paths. And the most dangerous part of all this is that you almost never realize it's happening. From the very first encounters, they study you, observe your reactions, your insecurities, the moments when your eyes sparkle and the moments when you shrink. In every word he says, there's a hidden intention. In every display of affection, there's a cold calculation. He plants phrases that will echo long after he's gone. He creates memories that will scream louder than the pain when you try to forget him. And you, in the midst of it all, think you're experiencing an intense love. But you're being programmed. This process is silent. He praises you when you're in doubt. He draws you closer when you realize you're about to wake up. He makes promises about the future to stabilize your hope while simultaneously devaluing your true emotions, creating an emotional dependence disguised as romance. Little by little, you stop trusting yourself and begin to seek validation from him. It's at this point that the cycle is sealed. When he leaves, it's not the end. It's a strategic pause. He needs you to feel his absence, to suffer his loss, to idealize him. He knows exactly how long to wait, which trigger to use, which memory to reactivate. And when he returns, he doesn't just come back. He returns just as you're starting to get back on your feet, just as your self-esteem is rebuilding, because the return needs to be a blow. Not a reunion. This invisible architecture is based on predictability. He knows you better than you realize. He knows what to say, how to show up, what apology to offer. Sometimes he doesn't even apologize. He just shows up with the same intensity as before, as if nothing had happened. And you, with the pain still raw, wonder, is this a sign? But it isn't. It's just the pattern repeating. While you search for meaning, he seeks control. While you relive memories, he reactivates triggers. While you analyze feelings, he executes plans. The return isn't about reconciliation, it's about reasserting power. It's about keeping alive the connection he himself severed, but never let die completely. And the cruelest thing is that often he even anticipates your healing. He knows that if he waits too long, you might break free. So he comes back before that. He comes back because he knows that longing isn't a cure, it's a loophole. And once you allow re-entry, the whole cycle begins again. As if nothing has changed. When you think you're missing someone, it's not always the other person. Often, it's the effect they had on your body. There's a silent reality that almost no one realizes. Abusive relationships, especially with narcissists, create a biochemical bond that goes far beyond the emotional. It's like an addiction, literally. Your body adapts to the chaos, and when the chaos disappears, it misses them, not the person. But the hormonal rush that relationship provided. A relationship with a narcissist is marked by intense highs and lows, moments of euphoria, followed by cruel silences, subtle criticisms, strategic disappearances. This generates an emotional swing that activates the production of dopamine, the neurotransmitter of pleasure and reward. Every unexpected message, every rapprochement after separation, every gesture of affection after rejection, all of this feeds your brain with quick and intense doses of dopamine, like an addiction being reinforced. At the same time, moments of rejection and abandonment trigger cortisol, the stress hormone. This causes you to live in a state of alert, in constant tension. Your body begins to understand that being with that person means being alive, even if it's suffering. Over time, the nervous system adapts. What should be avoided becomes familiar, and the familiar becomes a comfort zone, and that's where the cycle begins. It's not just emotional dependence, it's chemical dependence. Your body has been conditioned to respond to that pain-pleasure pattern. When it's gone, the emptiness isn't just emotional, it's physical. Your brain goes into withdrawal. You miss what hurt you, not because it felt good, but because it was predictable. It was your body's routine, and then it returns. And with it, the dopamine returns, the immediate relief, the warmth in your chest, the feeling of everything will get better now. But it doesn't, because the pattern is the same. Reconnection only serves to restart the cycle. What seems like reconciliation is actually the reactivation of the addiction. And you, without realizing it, surrender again. Not because you love, but because your body demands it. It demands what it knows, even if it destroys. This is the cruelest part of the bond with the narcissist. They don't need to be present all the time. They just need to know the right moment to appear for your biochemistry to react. A wave, a message, a look is all it takes, and it all comes back, as if it never stopped, as if you never tried to heal, and in a way, biologically, you never even tried. Because as long as effective memory is linked to chemical release, the addiction continues. That's why breaking up with a narcissist is so difficult. It's not just about cutting contact, it's about re-educating the body. It's about understanding that what seems like pleasure is actually just the repetition of an addictive stimulus. It's about deconstructing the association between pain and love, between presence and peace, between return and salvation. Until proven otherwise, your body will keep asking for another dose, another chance, another return. But as with any drug, the next dose never cures. It only prolongs the addiction. The narcissist doesn't come back because he misses you. He comes back because he senses you've begun to break free. The moment he senses control slipping from his grasp, he repositions himself. He returns as if nothing had happened, trying to reclaim the space he left empty by choice. But this return isn't affection, it's a mechanism. He doesn't want to love you, he wants to keep you available. And even more, he wants to ensure you still feel chosen by him. In the narcissist's game, absence is never an absence of interest. It's a scarcity tactic, a power play, a test to measure how far you'll endure, how far you'll stoop, how far you'll remain accessible. And when you start to react, when the pain begins to turn to anger or clarity, when he feels he's about to lose his central role in your life, he returns, but he returns just long enough for you to accept him back, not to change, not to grow, but to reclaim his emotional throne. This movement is cold, calculated, almost always masterfully timed. He watches you from afar, even if silently. He monitors your signals, senses your energy shift, notices when you start to smile without him. This, for the narcissistic ego, is unbearable. He can't bear to lose you, but not as a person, as an object of narcissistic reinforcement. You are the mirror he manipulates to see himself as irresistible, desired, powerful. And when that mirror threatens to shatter, he rushes to glue it back together, even if it means lying. There is no love where there is control, and the narcissist's return is never a surrender, it's a strategy. He will never declare himself vulnerable. He will test. He will play with innuendos, with shared memories, with gestures that shake your very foundation. And if you respond, he confirms, he still has power. He still reigns. This kind of return doesn't happen because they want to start over. It happens because they don't want you to start without them. The narcissist doesn't deal well with the idea of being forgotten, replaced, surpassed. To them, your independence is an affront. Your happiness without them is a threat. That's why they reappear at moments when your inner strength begins to emerge. Not to share that strength, but to shatter it again. The cruelest thing about all this is that often they don't even need to make an effort. A gesture, a memory, an emotional provocation is enough. Because they already know the paths. They know where to touch. And you, in your healing process, are still vulnerable. The longing, the neediness, the memory of good times, all of this becomes fuel for another cycle. And the cycle begins again, once again, under the name of starting over. But with the same pain as always. You need to understand, returning in this type of relationship is not proof of love, it's proof of dominance. If he can't love you, he'll possess you, and if he can't possess you, he'll paralyze you. The goal isn't to make you happy, it's to keep you confused, keep you there, halfway, where he still reaches you, but you never move forward. The true breakup happens when you stop waiting for a meaningful return. When you understand that what he calls love is, in fact, resistance to losing you. Because for someone who never truly loved you, the worst punishment is seeing you love yourself alone. You spent too much time thinking that returning meant a second chance. You tried to give meaning to the gesture, waited for maturity in the words, sought truth in the look. But time reveals what emotion tried to hide. What returns isn't always love. Sometimes it's just the cycle asking for another turn. And the greatest proof that you're ready to break free is when you can say no to what once crumbled you inside. The narcissist's final appearance almost always seems more intense, more emotional, more convincing. He knows he's losing. And so he gives everything away, memories, promises, tears. This is the moment when you need to be most attentive, because what's being tested there isn't the relationship, it's your evolution. The narcissist doesn't return for transformation. He returns to test whether your healing is real or merely superficial, to measure whether you're still fragile to his touch, to discover if the door he left ajar has finally been closed. This is the final test. And it's not him who needs to be defeated, it's the illusion. The attachment to what could have been, the hope that he's changed, the desire to fix what was broken, all of this needs to die within you so that you can finally live whole. When you understand that his return is just a repackaged trap, the trap loses its power, and in that instant, something changes. Pain turns into discernment, longing into indifference, the bond into a lesson. Breaking the cycle doesn't require hatred. It requires clarity, because forgiving isn't about accepting someone back. It's about recognizing that that person no longer has a place in your life. And this isn't about revenge, nor about pride. It's about peace. The kind you tried to find in them, but will only feel when you decide to walk alone. True freedom doesn't come when the other person leaves. It arises when you stop begging for them to return. There is no love where there is manipulation. There is no healing where the same mistake is repeated in different promises. And there is no future with someone who insists on dragging you back to the past. The cycle only ends when you decide not to go back. When you understand that their return is just a repetition of an old storyline, and that the only new chapter depends exclusively on you. Now look at everything you've endured. All the times you kept quiet, begged, blamed yourself, and understand, none of that was love. It was emotional survival. But from today on, you no longer need to survive, you can live. And living without them isn't loneliness, it's salvation. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and like this video. Also, turn on the notification bell to be notified of our posts. See you in the next video.